business model canvas. Let's talk about how the business model canvas is laid out and how to approach filling it in. Once again, this is just a high-level overview so that you can see this. These tools will be available for you to use with the questions you need to ask to fill in these boxes. But just to give you a sense of this, the business model canvas sitting here by itself empty looks like one of those tools that's like, okay, how do I do this? Well, actually, we start with value proposition. A critical component of any business is their value proposition. Once that value proposition is in place, and certainly actually you start with your values and your strategy at the top here, that leads to a value proposition. We then move over to this right side of the document, which we call the customer and revenue side of it. Okay, so it's grouped into value proposition, customer and income, as well as operations and costs. So now we'd move over to customer segments, describe what those are, the type of relationships we want to have with our customers, the channels we may use to talk to them on, and then finish with what the revenue streams might look like. We then jump over to who are our key partners in this environment, what type of activities we would need to take on, what are our resources, and what are those particular cost structures. So you can see how it's laid out and how you would move through the document. We've got specific examples. You don't have to worry about that at the moment. So as we look at it, talk about a busy slide, but this captures the state of an organization at one moment in time. And those are the questions that you would need to ask yourself that will be available with links through IMEC after this presentation so that you can ask yourself to fill in this slide. So in customer segments, the question might be, it defines, are we a mass market? Are we a niche market? Are we segmented? Or do we diversified? Once you answer those questions, you get an example of a business model canvas, something like this. So this is an example of a client of ours who we've been using the business model canvas with, and their purpose is to enhance the happiness of both people and pets. So if we start in the business, in the value proposition, you can read that yourself. It's longish. I don't need to replay it for you. Secondly, we then jump over to the customer segment. So they've suggested that they have two segments. Niche market for consumers, so they sell directly to some consumers, but a very segmented arena for their online distributors, their brick and mortar distributors, and some direct to smaller stores. So those are three very specific segments. So now you can imagine with those types of segments, there's some significant work to be done in the relationship side. So you can see this is in black. They haven't filled this, we haven't filled this out yet because there are many questions to answer. Some of these were dedicated personal assistants or self-service. So you need to determine what your relationship is. They also haven't really determined the complete awareness around the channels that they're in. And the final piece is that they do sell at list price to one segment, and then the other piece is that it's definitely customer segment dependent. So now let's move over to, yes.
Oh, I want to step in just real quick. Sorry, I just want to tell people that this is actually a manufacturer as well. So this is a real live example of how the business model canvas would work, but also this is actually like a real live manufacturer.
Thank you. I appreciate you putting that in. Absolutely. So in key partners, their third-party logistics operation is a key partner. Their offshore manufacturers are key partners. Their offshore agents are key partners. The design studio that helps them are key partners. Those are just a few of them. The activities that they determine are key is to create and innovate niche functional products. So product development is a key activity for them. New products. They need to manage their supply chain, and who doesn't these days? First with all of the tariffs that were associated with it, now with the COVID disruption, inventory management is more important than ever. acquisition of distressed bolt-on is a potential activity. So now we look at this and say, let's look at the creation of organizations who are never going to come out of the limping along state and never really get reorganized. That's a possible opportunity for acquisition. So now the key resources are certainly their warehousing, their brand, and their cash flow. And the last piece is that they have cost structure that's cost driven, of course. So now this is a snapshot of their current organization on May 14th of 2020, because we just did this one last week. All right, so that's what we want to get people to, is a current snapshot. So when you see the color as it's relevant to the business model canvas, current state is in green. We're now going to go through the Porter's 5 forces, as well as the SWOT analysis, which will increase the items inside the business model canvas. Those will be in blue for opportunities, and weaknesses and threats will be in red.